In the heart of North Korea's brutal regime, Kim Jong-un's life is shrouded in secrecy and excess. As his nation grapples with famine and oppression, Kim indulges in the world's rarest delicacies, savoring nightly feasts of shark fin soup and aged wines. His evenings are a spectacle of wealth, with luxury cars lining the drive and opulent parties where every indulgence is at his command. Join us as we delve into the hidden life and the daily routine of Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader's unconventional morning routine. In a world where most leaders adhere to strict schedules and early morning routines, North Korea's Kim Jong-un breaks the mold in the most extravagant way possible. While his people struggle to make ends meet, the supreme leader indulges in late-night partying and heavy drinking, allowing his overindulgence to dictate when he rises from his slumber. But when he finally does grace the nation with his presence, the citizens of Pyongyang are jolted awake by a peculiar tradition that has haunted the city for over a decade. As the sun rises over the North Korean capital, a strange melody begins to echo through the streets. It's a propaganda song, composed by none other than Kim Jong-un's late father, Kim Jong-il. The eerie tune, meant to evoke feelings of patriotism and loyalty, serves as a jarring wake-up call for the city's residents. Imagine starting your day, every day, to the sound of a dystopian anthem blaring from loudspeakers on every corner. It's a chilling thought, but for the people of Pyongyang, it's just another part of their daily reality under the Kim regime. But while his subjects are forced to start their day with this unsettling musical alarm, Kim Jong-un himself is just beginning to stir in his opulent mansion, known as the Ryongseong residence. This sprawling 30,500 square meter compound stands as a living embodiment of the supreme leader's lavish tastes and utter disregard for his people's suffering. Inside, you'll find everything from a private theater and swimming pool to a horse stable and shooting range. It's a world away from the cramped, dilapidated apartments that most North Koreans call home. The shocking contrast: Kim's extravagant breakfast versus North Korea's food scarcity. As Kim Jong-un settles into his day, the next order of business is a lavish breakfast fit for a king, or, in this case, a dictator. The supreme leader's morning spread is a decadent affair, featuring only the finest imported delicacies from around the world. From premium cuts of Kobe beef, flown in from Japan at exorbitant costs, to exotic fruits and caviar, no expense is spared in catering to Kim's discerning palate. One of his favorite breakfast indulgences is a luxurious spread of sushi made with the fattiest cuts of tuna belly. Known as toro in Japanese cuisine, this high-grade fish can cost hundreds of dollars per pound, a price tag that means nothing to the man who holds the keys to North Korea's coffers. But Kim's culinary extravagance doesn't stop there. He's also known for his love of Swiss Emmental cheese, a rich, creamy delicacy that he developed a taste for during his schooling in Switzerland. In fact, his obsession with this particular cheese is so notorious that he once sent North Korean officials to a French culinary school to learn the art of cheese-making, just to satisfy his cravings. But perhaps the most shocking aspect of Kim's breakfast ritual is the stark contrast it presents to the reality faced by the vast majority of North Koreans. While their leader indulges in a spread worthy of a Michelin-starred restaurant, most of his subjects struggle to put even the most basic meals on the table. In a country where food shortages and malnutrition are rampant, the average North Korean subsists on a meager diet of rice, corn, and kimchi. Meat is a rare luxury, and many families are forced to forage for wild plants and insects just to survive. The irony of this disparity is not lost on observers, who note that Kim's lavish lifestyle is directly funded by the suffering of his people. While he sips on expensive imported coffee, handpicked from the finest Brazilian plantations, most North Koreans have never even tasted this exotic beverage. The concept of a coffee break is as foreign to them as the idea of a free and open society. Kim Jong-un's lavish parties and secret harem. When the sun sets over Pyongyang, the real extravagance of Kim Jong-un's lifestyle comes to light. The supreme leader is known for his love of lavish parties, where the finest food, drinks, and entertainment are on full display. These glitzy affairs are a far cry from the drab, colorless existence most North Koreans know, and they offer a glimpse into the decadent world of the country's ruling elite. At these parties, guests are treated to a seemingly endless array of top-shelf liquors, imported wines, and gourmet dishes prepared by Kim's personal chefs. From Russian vodka to French champagne, no expense is spared in keeping the supreme leader and his cronies well lubricated throughout the night. The culinary offerings showcase Kim's refined palate, featuring luxurious delicacies such as caviar, lobster, and premium cuts of meat sourced from around the world. This ostentatious display of opulence becomes even more repugnant when juxtaposed with the harsh reality faced by most North Koreans, who consider themselves fortunate to consume a single full meal in a day. But the real centerpiece of these parties is the so-called pleasure squad, a group of 2,000 beautiful young women handpicked to entertain Kim and his inner circle. These women, some as young as 13, are plucked from their families and subjected to a rigorous training regimen that includes singing, dancing, and even intimate techniques meant for exploitation. They are, in essence, a harem of concubines, existing solely to cater to the whims and desires of the supreme leader and his top officials. The existence of the pleasure squad is a closely guarded secret within North Korea, and for a good reason. The idea of a leader who presents himself as a family man and a benevolent father figure engaging in such debauchery would be deeply damaging to Kim's carefully crafted public image. But behind closed doors, the reality is far more sordid. Women who have managed to defect from North Korea have spoken of the horrors they endured as members of the pleasure squad, from abuse to forced abortions and drug addiction. It's a disturbing glimpse into the depths of depravity that exist at the highest levels of the North Korean regime. While Kim Jong-un presents himself to the world as a strong, capable leader, the truth is that he is little more than a depraved tyrant, willing to sacrifice the lives and dignity of his own people for his personal pleasure. The supreme leader's expensive taste in alcohol and cigarettes. In the shadowy world of North Korean politics, few things are as shrouded in secrecy as the personal habits of the country's supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. But despite the regime's best efforts to keep Kim's life under wraps, whispers of his extravagant tastes and vices have managed to seep through the cracks. Among the most startling revelations, the supreme leader's insatiable appetite for high-end liquors and cigarettes, indulgences that stand in stark contrast to the harsh realities faced by the North Korean people. According to insiders and defectors, Kim's love for the finer things in life extends far beyond his well-documented obsession with luxury cars and designer watches. Behind closed doors, the supreme leader is said to have a particular fondness for expensive spirits, with a special affinity for Russian vodka, Hennessy cognac, and the finest French wines. Reports suggest that Kim's personal stockpile of alcohol is worth millions of dollars, with rare bottles of whiskey and champagne occupying pride of place in his sprawling collection. But Kim's drinking habits aren't just a matter of personal indulgence, they're also a reflection of his iron grip on power. In a country where the average citizen struggles to put food on the table, the supreme leader's ability to procure the world's most expensive liquors is a potent symbol of his unquestioned authority. It's a message that rings loud and clear in North Korea. What Kim wants, Kim gets. The supreme leader's love for the bottle comes with its own risks. Experts have warned that Kim's excessive drinking habits could be taking a toll on his health, with some suggesting that his bloated appearance and unpredictable behavior may be linked to alcohol abuse. There are even rumors that Kim has been known to make critical decisions while under the influence, a frightening prospect given the immense power he wields. But Kim's vices don't end with alcohol. The supreme leader is also known to have a serious smoking habit, with a preference for high-end cigarettes like Marlboro and Dunhill. Like his love for fine spirits, Kim's smoking is a symbol of his elite status and a reflection of his disregard for the well-being of his people. While ordinary North Koreans are barely able to afford basic necessities, their leader thinks nothing of spending thousands of dollars on imported cigarettes. Kim Jong-un's mind-boggling watch collection and luxury cars. In a country where the average citizen earns less than $1,000 a year, Kim Jong-un's personal wealth is a subject of endless fascination and disgust. The supreme leader's lavish lifestyle is a slap in the face to the millions of North Koreans who struggle to put food on the table, and nowhere is this more apparent than in his mind-boggling collection of luxury watches and cars. According to experts, Kim's watch collection alone is worth an estimated $8.2 million. a sum that is almost impossible to fathom in a country where most people live in abject poverty. The supreme leader's taste in timepieces is as extravagant as it is eclectic, with a particular fondness for rare and exotic brands like Patek Philippe, Rolex, and IWC. He has been spotted wearing watches that cost more than the average North Korean earns in a lifetime, a fact that underscores the obscene inequality that pervades every aspect of life in the Hermit Kingdom. But Kim's love for luxury doesn't stop at watches. The supreme leader is also known for his obsession with high-end cars, a passion that he inherited from his father, Kim Jong-il. Kim's personal fleet of vehicles is said to include some of the world's most exclusive and expensive models, from sleek Audi sports cars to bulletproof Mercedes-Benz limousines. He has even been known to import custom-built vehicles from Europe, a process that requires a complex network of smugglers and middlemen to circumvent international sanctions. For Kim, these lavish possessions are more than just a way to flaunt his wealth and power. They are also a key part of his carefully crafted image as a modern, sophisticated leader, one who is at ease on the world stage and comfortable rubbing shoulders with the global elite. In a country where information is tightly controlled and the outside world is kept at bay, Kim's luxury goods serve as a potent symbol of his authority and a reminder of his unquestioned dominance over every aspect of North Korean society. The Supreme Leader's Floating Palace. In the world of luxury yachts, size matters, and when it comes to the floating palace of North Korea's supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, no expense has been spared. The Princess 95 Mai, as it's known, is a jaw-dropping 95-foot masterpiece of opulence and extravagance, a vessel that would make even the most seasoned billionaire blush with envy. According to sources close to the North Korean regime, Kim's yacht is a custom-built marvel crafted by the renowned British luxury yacht manufacturer Princess Yachts. With its sleek lines, gleaming white exterior, and state-of-the-art technology, the Princess 95 Mai is a floating manifesto of Kim's insatiable appetite for the finer things in life. Step aboard, and you'll find yourself in a world of unimaginable luxury. The yacht's interior is a study in elegance and sophistication, with plush leather seating, gleaming wood paneling, and all the latest amenities. There's a spacious master suite fit for a king, complete with a king-size bed, a private jacuzzi, and a wall-mounted flat-screen TV. The ensuite bathroom is equally lavish, with a marble-clad shower and gold-plated fixtures. But the real highlight of Kim's floating palace is the top-deck party area, where the supreme leader is said to entertain his inner circle with lavish feasts and free-flowing champagne. There's a fully stocked bar, a state-of-the-art sound system, and even a karaoke machine, because what's a party without a little singing and dancing? Kim's love for water sports is well documented, and his yacht is equipped with all the latest toys to keep him entertained. There's a fleet of jet skis for high-speed thrills, a water slide for a quick cool-off, and even a mini-submarine for underwater exploration. It's a floating playground for a man who knows no limits when it comes to his own pleasure and amusement. The bizarre beliefs. North Koreans' perception of Kim Jong-un as a divine being. In the twisted world of North Korean propaganda, the line between reality and fiction is a blurry one. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the bizarre and disturbing beliefs that the regime has instilled in its people about their supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. From claims of supernatural powers to the idea that he is a divine being without bodily functions, the North Korean people have been brainwashed into accepting a warped and distorted view of their leader, one that serves to reinforce his absolute power and control over every aspect of their lives. At the heart of this twisted belief system is the idea that Kim Jong-un is no ordinary man. According to North Korean state media, the supreme leader is a godlike figure, imbued with superhuman abilities and an almost mystical aura. Stories abound of Kim's supposed exploits and achievements, from his prowess on the golf course to his ability to control the weather with his moods. It's a cult of personality that would be laughable if it weren't so deeply ingrained in the psyche of the North Korean people. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of this deification of Kim Jong-un is the claim that he lacks normal bodily functions. North Korean propaganda has long insisted that the supreme leader does not urinate or defecate like ordinary humans, a belief that has been drilled into the minds of the people from a young age. It's a ludicrous notion, of course, but one that underscores the lengths to which the regime will go to elevate Kim to the status of a divine being. The consequences of this brainwashing are profound and far-reaching. North Koreans are conditioned to obey Kim's every command without question, no matter how irrational or absurd it may be. They are told that their leader is infallible, that his decisions are always right and just, and that to question his authority is to invite swift and severe punishment. It's a system of control that relies on fear, intimidation, and the erasure of individual thought and agency. For those who have managed to escape the clutches of the North Korean regime, the process of deprogramming and unlearning these bizarre beliefs can be a long and painful one. Defectors often speak of the deep sense of betrayal and disillusionment they feel when they realize that the man they once worshipped as a god is nothing more than a cruel and capricious dictator. It's a realization that comes at a high cost, but one that is essential if North Korea is ever to break free from the chains of oppression and tyranny. The shocking assassination of Kim Jong-un's half-brother. In the early morning hours of February 13, 2017, a shocking assassination took place at Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia. The target was Kim Jong-nam, the estranged half-brother of North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un, and the method was as bizarre as it was brutal. According to security camera footage and eyewitness accounts, two young women approached Kim Jong-nam in the airport terminal and smeared his face with a mysterious substance. Within minutes, he began to experience symptoms of poisoning, including dizziness, seizures, and difficulty breathing. He sought medical attention at the airport clinic, but it was too late. By the time an ambulance arrived to take him to the hospital, he was unconscious and in critical condition. He died en route, his life cut short by a deadly nerve agent known as VX. The assassination of Kim Jong-nam shocked the world, and for good reason. VX is a highly toxic chemical weapon that is banned under international law, and its use in a public place like an airport was a brazen and reckless act of violence. But even more shocking was the growing suspicion that the murder had been ordered by none other than Kim Jong-un himself. According to intelligence reports and defector accounts, Kim Jong-nam had long been seen as a potential rival to his younger half-brother, who took power in North Korea after the death of their father, Kim Jong-il, in 2011. Kim Jong-nam had a reputation as a reformer and a critic of the North Korean regime, and he had even suggested that he might be open to the idea of a leadership change in the country. For Kim Jong-un, who sees himself as the rightful and unquestioned ruler of North Korea, such talk was tantamount to treason. The two women who carried out the assassination, Doan Thi Huong of Vietnam and Siti Aisyah of Indonesia, were quickly arrested and charged with murder. But as the investigation unfolded, it became clear that they were merely pawns in a much larger game. Both women claimed that they had been recruited by North Korean agents who had tricked them into thinking they were participating in a prank TV show. They had been given a small amount of cash and told to smear a harmless liquid on Kim Jong-nam's face, not realizing that the substance was actually a deadly nerve agent. The use of unwitting dupes to carry out an assassination is a classic North Korean tactic, and it's one that Kim Jong-un has used before. In 2011, a group of North Korean agents posing as defectors were caught trying to assassinate a high-ranking defector in South Korea using a poison needle disguised as a pen. In 2012, a North Korean agent was arrested in Seoul with a pair of poison-tipped pens intended for use against anti-Pyongyang activists. In the years since the assassination, the Kim Jong-un regime has continued to deny any involvement in the murder, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. The two women who carried out the attack were eventually released, with one of them expressing remorse for her role in the killing. But the true mastermind behind the assassination remains at large, protected by the impunity that comes with being the supreme leader of North Korea. Kim Jong-un's mysterious mansions and the Kangdong residence. For a man who loves nothing more than to flaunt his wealth and power, Kim Jong-un is remarkably secretive about his personal life. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the sprawling network of lavish mansions and compounds that he maintains across North Korea. According to intelligence reports and satellite imagery, Kim Jong-un owns at least 17 different mansions and residences scattered throughout the country, each one more opulent and extravagant than the last. There's the sprawling Ryeongsong residence in Pyongyang, with its private theater, Olympic-sized swimming pool, and underground bunker. There's the beachfront compound in Wonsan, with its miles of pristine white sand and crystal-clear waters. And then there's the Kangdong residence, a secluded and heavily guarded compound that serves as Kim's personal retreat and playground. Located just outside of Pyongyang, the Kangdong residence is a sprawling 10-acre estate that is said to be one of Kim's favorite places to relax and unwind. Satellite images show a complex of buildings and facilities that would put most five-star resorts to shame, including a private bowling alley, a shooting range, and even a horseback riding track. There's also a full-sized basketball court, a luxury spa, and a state-of-the-art gymnasium, because even dictators need to stay in shape. But perhaps the most striking feature of the Kangdong residence is the level of security and secrecy that surrounds it. The compound is surrounded by a high wall and is heavily guarded by elite military units and secret police. Access is strictly limited to Kim and his inner circle, and even high-ranking officials are said to be wary of visiting the compound without an explicit invitation from the supreme leader himself. The secrecy surrounding Kim's mansions and residences is partly a reflection of his paranoid and controlling nature, but it's also a strategic move designed to keep his rivals and enemies guessing. By maintaining a network of secret and heavily guarded compounds across the country, Kim is able to move around freely and conduct his business without fear of detection or interference. It's a tactic that has served him well over the years, allowing him to consolidate his power and eliminate any potential threats to his rule. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.